All right, so we're going to get into drawing more freehand. So the first thing we're going to do is kind of set up our canvas a little bit here. So I'm going to grab kind of a medium gray, and I'm just going to use the paint bucket tool to fill in my background layer with kind of a nice medium gray. That will come into more play with our second part of this demonstration. Then I'm going to go ahead and grab kind of a darker medium gray, not quite all the way black. Grab a paintbrush. I'm going to manipulate my paintbrush. I still like to draw with kind of a hard-edged paintbrush, at least initially, on the smaller scale and a little bit harder edged there. And then I can always go ahead and still play with the opacity and the flow, and basically just set up the paintbrush at this point how you prefer your paintbrush. Now we're going to be drawing, so you don't need to be using the mixer brush or anything like that. We're just going to be working on kind of drawing more freehand as opposed to tracing anything. Okay. So basically the same concepts we've been working with before, but now we're kind of expanding a little bit better. So once you're happy, you've got your paintbrush how you like it, we're going to go ahead and jump on in here. Now, if you've had a drawing class in the past, this will be very second nature to you. But if you haven't, this might be kind of new to you. So I want to make sure that we're all on the same page. When you start off, just make some circles, right? And kind of figure out what kind of circle are you making? Are you kind of scrabbling around? Are you making a nice fluid kind of circle? Or your circle's all kind of scratchy and weird and angular looking? Really, when it comes to digital painting, anything will work. I'm biased. I like more of a kind of hula hoop kind of going around and around like a tornado. But with digital drawing, as with a lot of more advanced drawings, it just, you do what works best for you. So make some circles, kind of limber up, get yourself ready to go. And then we're going to go ahead and jump on in. Now we're going to go ahead and just draw a very basic portrait, somebody looking at us. So start off just with a circle. Larger is better. We can always shrink it down later. You're going to bisect that circle right down the middle and go ahead and cut it in half. Now, this is just going to help us understand that if I take the top half, the bottom half, and then I just make another, so a third, that'll tell me about where my chin is. Remember that whenever you are drawing someone, you always want to make sure that the eyes are in the middle of the head, not the middle of that circle. That circle is kind of more of the cranium, okay? So there's my eyes kind of smack in the middle of the head. I'm just going to kind of roughly place these. And these are not going to be, we're not making someone photorealistic. So just kind of a quick little line to kind of place. Nose goes at the bottom of that circle, that cranium, and then mouth kind of halfway between the nose and the chin. Now, we're going to switch things up. So I'm going to grab a different color real quick. So I want you to start thinking more kind of in 3 dimensions. Think about where are the cheeks, where's the temples. Our heads are not perfectly flattened, right? They're kind of 3-dimensional. So I have a front of my face, I have the side of my face, I have my temporal lobes, I have my parietal lobe. Like there's a whole bunch going on here. So I'm going to draw a couple little lines, and these are going to symbolize, or kind of help symbolize, where the sides of my face are located. Because if you think about your cheeks, even though you see them head on, they're kind of more on the side of your face, whereas your mouth, your nose, and your eyes are kind of on the front of your face. So these pink lines just kind of symbolize real quick, okay, so I've got the side of my cheeks. It kind of helps me understand where my eyes are going to be located. I know where my hairline is at. So I'm going to go ahead and move those eyes just a little bit up, because where those lines intersect, your cheeks and your temples, or the side of your kind of temple there, that's about where your eyes are going to be located. So my initial drawing was a little bit off. I can actually raise those up. I can go ahead and kind of drop down, put the bridge of the nose in there, kind of smooth out the jawline a little bit. And again, it all is about thinking about the sides of the face. That's really the only thing that we're adding in. So from the corner of the jawline, rounding up, touching the eyeballs, and going to the very tip top of the head, that's going to be more of the kind of my temples, right? So intersecting with that hairline and crossing up. And I know that looks like a mess, so let's make a better version. So I'm just going to kind of quickly zip through this. So again, same circle, dropping it down, putting the chin. Okay. Now, once I've got that, I'm going to think about, okay, there's my hairline, think about my eyes go in the middle of the head, and I'm going to start thinking about how I can make this kind of cheek. So again, going from kind of the chin up to kind of my temple. Okay, switching out, going from my jawline to my hairline to the top of my crown there, top of my head. And where those things, where those 2 lines intersect, that's going to be where my eyes are located. So a little bit higher, just a hair higher than halfway. I can drop that jaw straight down. That gives me kind of my neck. Neck is a little bit wide, but that's okay. Where your neck intersects with your body is kind of like a little triangle shape, so that's what I'm showing there. And you can see the height as well. So I have, if I take that circle and break it down, I have 1, 2, the third one is the chin, the fourth one is the neck. Now I can go ahead and kind of color these things in just to make it a little bit easier for you to see. I'm just going to throw in some shoulders real quick and color in. So there's the sides of my face. I can switch out again. I'll do kind of the front here, right? And again, I'll do kind of the farther side, I guess. Now, imagine if instead of coloring these in with yellows and things, imagine if I was actually coloring them in, or if my light source was in this direction, right? Having these sides of my face visible really would help you be able to kind of light the scene a little bit. I'd be able to very quickly tell where my light source is coming from, and much more easily make a three-dimensional picture. So if you've ever drawn portraits before and they've always felt a little flat or a little cartoony, maybe you're not taking into account the lighting, the three-dimensional lighting on the sides of the face, as well as the front plane. So let's go ahead and kind of switch over here real quick. All right, so again, we're going to give it one more try, only this time I want to think about a three-quarter view. So not just a portrait, not him looking at us, but I'm going to go ahead and hammer out a three-quarter view and understand how those planes of the face interact. So again, you can see from the jaw to the temple, and from the bottom of my jaw up to the crown of the head there. Very quickly, I can get something that feels much more three-dimensional. So for your first part of this project, find a random photo, any person you want. I grabbed a Bruce Willis here, and I want you to draw this completely freehand, no tracing whatsoever, but you don't have to put any detail, okay? So, starting out with the cranium, and you can literally, you can see I'm lining mine up. It is exactly the same size as my photo. Use your photo as reference, okay? Putting the jawline in the right place, turning the head a little more three-quarter view, so it's not totally profile, it's not totally portrait, it's turned a little bit, and I can see the side of his face. Placing little lines here and there, where are his shoulders at, where's the jawline at, where's the neck at, just very rough little sketches, okay? Keep referencing that photo. Draw what you see, not what you think you see. I'm going to put a couple little placements here. So if he's got his head turned up ever so slightly, that's going to put a shadow underneath his chin, kind of like a little triangle shape there. So I'm going to go ahead and place that. Put a line where about his eyes are located. I'm going to think about that curvature of the side of his face. And again, don't trace. You can draw on top of your reference, but I want you to really freehand this. If it's not perfect, that's okay, we're learning. Where those lines intersect, right there, you can see that kind of shows me where his ears go, as well as where his eyes line up at. And once I've gone ahead and got this kind of roughed in, if I wanted to, I can go ahead and kind of add some shadow, add some highlights. But this is all I'm really looking for. I am not asking for any kind of detail. I want to get the kind of rotation of your reference photo. So no detail, no nothing to worry about. Take your time with it and really hammer out the sides of the face in 3 dimensions, okay? Once you've done that, you are done with part 1.